Hello, so this is a requested video and I was happy to oblige, although it's taken me literally years to get round to this. And this is how to convert the Scott GSR to use 40mm filters, because I know a lot of people don't actually know this. Well, actually a lot of people do, but the Scott GSR can literally take 40mm out the box. You do not need a bloody, some sort of converter for it. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do it. So here's one I made earlier, look. See, 40mm port. Basically, the bayonet filter lugs for this are hidden under that special sealing system. So, if you get this out neat enough, in theory, you can put the Scott GSR's filter system onto other masks, and you can have this in 40mm. Now, I'm going to give you a warning here first. If you fuck this up during this video and break your mask, it's not my fault. Obviously, I think this is meant to be done with specialised tools, if it's meant to be done at all. We're just going to do it with a screwdriver and some pliers, but let me show you how you do it anyway. Right, so hopefully this is well enough in frame. So what we're going to do is get the Scott GSR. Now obviously this is the side I've already done that's 40mm. This is the side that's got the adapter on it. So first obviously take your filter off so there's no filter on there. Then I'm going to use two screwdrivers. I'm just going to use flatheads. You can do this with safety pins as well. So where there's those two little prongs on each side of this sort of filter assembly, you just need to prise these up ever so slightly. So that's one. Now let's get the other one. There we go, that's two. So now they're lifted up slightly. Now what we're going to do is get some pliers, put them in here, and we're going to need to lever these up a bit more. But once this is levered up well enough, essentially this bit just unscrews like with a 40mm filter. So let's get that in there and get that one up a bit more. Let's give it another try. I'm going to have to give it some more force. So this is where, as I said, you might end up damaging the mask a little bit. Well, not really the mask, but the actual, thing, so you can't put it back in afterwards. Because the issue is, obviously, you need to get these clear of this. Let me see if I can just get the screwdriver under there like that. Right, that's that one wedged under like that. That will do pretty well. Let's see if I can do the same with the other one. Now I've got them up a little bit. It's easier said than done. Right, let me prise it up again and then see if I can get the screwdriver under it to keep it up. Well, saying that, now it's in that position, I might be able to just use the pliers again. No, it doesn't want to budge yet, so I'm going to have to do that again. The process is actually really straightforward. It's just a case of how much force you need to put on it before it goes. Right, that should work now. Let's have another go. There we go. See, it twists. There we go, it's out. So that is the bayonet adapter. So 40mm on one end with the little plug, and then bayonet that end. Now, depending on how the valve assembly works, I imagine this wouldn't actually work in a lot of other things. You could certainly put Scott GSR filters on other masks, but I don't think they'd have the blocking system. Because how this actually works to block it is that essentially the air is only going through that tiny hole there. Anyway, I know that's not in frame sadly, but there you go. That's the Scott GSR in 40mm. And now let's just, for proof of concept, see if we can get another mask and just put these GSR filters on it. Right, so if the camera wants to stay still, look, there's this mask. So, rather than putting a 40mm filter on it, let's screw one of these in, if it will go in. Again, I think it's going to depend a little bit on thread pitch with masks and all that, how well these screw in or don't. So that's partially gone in. Now, get a GSR filter. Work out which way the bayonet key is, there. There we go. Obviously it doesn't have the proper locking system like the GSR has, but there you go. GSR filter bodged onto a mask, which is totally impractical. You can probably unscrew that thing using it. Yeah, there we go. So that's now stuck in there. Brilliant. Is there any way of getting that out now? Probably pulling that. I'll probably have to get this out with pliers now. But yeah, that's obviously the danger of doing this. That you might end up getting this happen. I suppose that doesn't matter too much. Oh no, there we go, it's come out. But yeah, so if you were interested in how the Scott GSR bayonet system works, these are literally the bayonet prongs. See? That's what keeps it in.
when it's in this position, that gets it to come out. So there you go, that's all there is to the Scott GSR filters. But as said, yes, if you ever wanted this in 40mm, that's how you do it. But because of how they've designed this, it won't breathe for that easy due to the smaller slot, so you're kind of going to need to use it with dual filters. And the other issue is that you've still got this ugly sort of plastic stuff sticking out there, because obviously it wasn't intended for 40mm, but how they literally did it, which I still think is quite funny, is rather than doing the Avon M50 thing of completely designing the mask to be like that, what they just did is basically said, you know, best of both worlds, it can be 40mm or it can be, you know, our own proprietary filter. But the issue is that, obviously, doing it that way, or you can use both kinds of filters, it does mean that it's not particularly good at either job. Anyway, apparently the new Scott GSRs that Avon are making now are pretty good, so Avon GSRs. So, you know, the weird irony of competition trials between the M50 and the GSR. M50 does better, but it costs too much, so they went with the GSR. Had a lot of issues with it. In the end, Avon was actually paid to sort the program out, so now Avon's making GSRs. Clown world. Anyway, there we go. So, if you want to screw 40mm into your Scott GSR, that's the simple way of doing it. You just simply... This one doesn't want to go in now. There we go. You just simply, yeah, take these out using, I'd say, 2 screwdrivers or pins and a pair of pliers. That's all there is to it.